What looks fun in movies, but in real life is miserable? Being an attorney. Objection. I blame Phoenix Wright. Take that. This evidence proves it is not Phoenix Wright. Objection. Taps forehead lightly to signal thinking. I have requested a new report this morning. So your statement is outdated. Right? You'd think you'd have a personal connection to every case. And they're all murders. And all the culprits would confess if you yell hold it at them enough. Owning an artisan bakery, coffee shop. Kudos to Kiki's delivery service for showing that even if you have magic, running a business is hard at, and usually no one appreciates what you do, except that sweet old lady. She was amazing. Okay, but working at that bakery looked like a ton of fun. Maybe I'm just obsessed with the aesthetic. Shooting a gun indoors with no air protection. What? I can't hear you, the ringing's too loud. Mop. Damn you, tinnitus. You are a cruel mistress. Linda Hamilton is now partially deaf in one ear because one of her earplugs fell out whilst firing an M1911 in an elevator during Terminator 2's filming. Fighting on top of a moving train. Always make me think of the Archer episode where he was so excited to fight a guy but soon found out the reality of it really sucks. It's like my eyes got sprayed with a glitter gun. Archer is so good at subverting action movie tropes. One of my top 3 episodes, the others being the computer virus and the third being the blimp episode. It's an airship. Living on a desert island. My dad actually did run away and live alone on an island for a while, west coast of Canada where there's loads of them. He always says that while it was nice, the problem with being entirely self-sufficient is that you have to spend such an enormous percentage of your time not dying. There just isn't any time to appreciate being one with nature or living by the fruits of the earth or any of those hippie reasons you'd think to do it in the first place. He also says he has no trouble eating things covered in sand as a result of the experience. Please have your dad do an AMA. 3 shakers, salt, pepper, sand. It's part of how you get used to not being in Iraq anymore. Anything put in a montage. I did a montage once. I had to scan a bunch of documents. Some of the pages had staples in the middle of the page, so I played montage music and pretended to be in a movie. Made the time go by quicker. It was also a way to pass the time when I was the only one in the document room. Tell me you said, enhance. At least once. Every time I had to zoom in. Moving, painting and fixing up houses/apartments. You've got to put one foot in front of the other. Curse you. I love that song and it is so catchy. You're awesome. Haha, I just thought of the house building song from Red Dead Redemption 2. And soon you'll be walking out the door. Sleeping in the tall grass. I'm sure you've seen the memes, but in reality, those fields would be infested with bugs and they'd more than likely bite you. I had a cinematic stargazing experience with some friends. We lay in the grass and watched a meteor shower and talked about life. I found out the fun way the next morning that I was allergic to grass mites. Same, we were laying in the grass looking at stars in a public park and got the crap scared out of us when a homeless guy walking by that we didn't notice meowed at us and left. Then I realized we laid near fire ants. The next day one of my arms was so unbearably itchy. Y'all motherfuckers need blankets. Hanging up on people. In movies, it makes you look badass and mysterious. In real life, it makes you look like an inconsiderate asshole and will prompt a WTF happened callback. You used to be able to slam a phone down in its cradle, that was the fun part. Now you just angrily swipe a red button, not so fun. At least with old phones the other person could hear the phone slamming down for a fraction of a second before the call cut off. Now it just cuts and it's indistinguishable from getting cut out because of bad signal, so it's likely they'll call back and ask if you can hear them now. Montages where they're working hard, especially if it's a glow-up thing full of exercise and dieting and self-improvement. In reality it kinda sucks. There's no fast forward, no silly music. Looks up at clock. Oh, it's only been 15 minutes. listens to Eye of the Tiger in its entirety. Nothing happened. Fists. And in general, take however long you think it's gonna take and multiply it by like 4 or 5. Losing 10 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 35,000 calories that have to be cut out somewhere. Shit takes forever. I don't know if they are fun, but a lot of jobs are portrayed as a lot more exciting in movies than they are in real life. I have a wobbly desk in the corner of the office where my refurbished Dell from 6 years ago struggles to output 1920 by 1080 YouTube videos with no sound. I'm the head of the IT department. I wish I had big glass doors with facial recognition to get in, on a floor dedicated to everything being dark, a giant farm of servers all glowing blue that I have unabridged access to, and the ability to hack into any server anywhere on the planet with 10 lines of code or less, most of which is a giant ASCII logo. Sounds like the IT crowd was fairly accurate then. CPR. On TV it's just a fun cutesy little water coughing thing that you recover from immediately, and in real life it involves breaking ribs and maybe dying anyway. Probably dying anyway. It's only 40% effective in cardiac arrests, and even then only 10% to 20% of those people go on to live past their hospital stay. In the movies they pump 3 times and breathe into their mouth once and the person is miraculously on their feet and everyone applauds. Where are you getting those numbers? Out-of-hospital CPR has about a 10% effective rate. And that's being generous with the phrase effective. Stakeouts. Tried it once. So boring. My husband did one once. It basically consisted of sitting in a parking lot all night unable to turn the car on for heat or music and having to stare at the back entrance of a grocery store. He did it for 5 nights. Sounds incredibly boring. Not only boring, I reckon it would be torture on someone's back being unable to really move around much. At least in a chair you can kind of stretch, rotate your ankles and whatnot. There's not that much space in a car. My office is a car I'm in 9 hours a day, can confirm it's hell on your back. Elaborate pranks. Great for comedies, and also great way to fuck up relationships. Confuse, don't abuse. Prank equals everyone is laughing. Including the person it was done to. Otherwise you're just a dick. Nightclubs. What? Nightclubs, in the movies. It looks cool. You meet friends there, instead of grumpy strangers, and you have fun group interactions. What? I could feel the ringing in my ears reading this. That's tinnitus. What if we made the nightclub the outside? Digging a hole. Cartoons make it look so easy and quick. In reality hours of back-breaking work will get you 6 inches down. Depends on where you dig. Sand? Go nuts and have fun. Next to a tree? Enjoy spending 95% of your time trying to hack through roots. Used to live in a rural part of Massachusetts, ground was mostly rock. The only part that wasn't impossible to dig in was an old farmhouse garden. The house was next door to our lot, that several generations had picked rocks out of. Supposedly, land in the area had been offered to veterans of the American Revolution for free, but they'd turned it down for being too rocky. And NBSP. Edit, and now I'm understanding the RIP my inbox feeling. Hacking and so for the winner development in general. God, I wish it was actually as badass as people make it out to be. Run hack.exe and mash the keyboard a few times, right? The faster you type, the stronger the hack. How you gonna get past the mainframe's level 3 defenses with your slow ass hunt and peck bullshit? If they showed real hacking, they'd have to show the hours and hours of calling random phone numbers pretending to be the IT person that needs your password. Or sending millions of emails hoping someone is dumb enough to click on the link. But that's not tunneling into your college basement where you hit a virus that can hack the CIA all while getting a blowjob and doing it all in 60 seconds cool, now is it? Getting knocked out with a blow to the head. Movies, like waking up from a nap. Real life, pain, headache, problems for months if not years. Yep, fell down the stairs and hit my head, no other injuries, but I was off work for 9 months with post-concussion, sleeping 20 hours a day. Hormones all fucked up, like I started randomly producing breast milk, no energy, constant hospital appointments to see neurologists, endocrinologists, have MRIs, X-rays, ultrasounds, not to mention in real life, often that one blow to the head kills people. They always seem to be able to judge just how hard to hit someone with a metal pipe to knock them out long enough to tie them up. Hormones all fucked up, like I started randomly producing breast milk. Would be weirder if you were a dude. Archaeology and paleontology. They only show the glamorous artifact/fossil reveals. A few swishes of a brush and bam, priceless relic. Forget all the tedious groundwork, painstaking site processing, and site prep. Not to mention you'll be lucky to find anything easily recognizable. Hope you like bone and pottery shards or even literal ancient garbage. One man's trash is another man's postgraduate. And it's probably really hot as well.